Hi ladies and welcome to August's online class. Well, this class is a fun class. It's my sort of stamping. I'm not sure what the real name is, but I'm just calling it Stamping a One Sheet Wonder. So I don't normally do this, but I'm just going to promote this little stamp set or this bundle because it is amazing. What I'm using is the Merriest of Moments, and it's in the new mini that will go live tomorrow. And it has dies and an embossing folder as well. I'm just going to show you these because you can get so much out of this one bundle. It has two lots of dies here. So you've got all the individual dies that cut around the stamps, as well as the embossing folder, and the dies cut around the embossing folder and cut at the same time. You've also got this little square piece here that will cut out the insert. So at the end of it, I'll just show you a few different things that I have done with it, just so you know that you get, bang for your buck when you purchase this set. So it's called the Merriest of Moments, and that's the embossing folder and dies. So just put that aside. This is only one day before it goes live, so I'm showing you the inside. So this is the stamp set that we're using, and you can just see all the little different elements and the different things that are in the set. And of course our celebration goes live on the 3rd of August as well. So with those limited products, the others are all there. Okay, we'll get to the cards. So these are the pictures I sent out to you of these cards. So I used a different stamp set in different colours. So these are gorgeous as well. But when I got this this stamp set, I thought I'll have a go. Now, this technique is not my idea at all. It's an amazing lady by the name of Ruth from the UK has come up with this idea. So I'm just going to show you more what the cards that you will be doing will work out like. Is these nice bright colours. So you will make your four cards like this shape. I just wanted to do a couple of different ideas to show you that you can do tall, thin, skinny cards as well. And I've got a template that I'll show you how you can cut them out. But it's all just basically stamping, cutting out, and even the little scraps I've used to decorate the inside of the card, so you don't waste any of your A4 sheet of paper. So I'll just put those aside. And I'll show you another one that I have done. So this one is, that's what you start up with. You start up with your plain piece of paper. So these are the colour inks that I've used for this. My first ink I chose was Gorgeous Grape, and then I just put in Google, put Stampin' Up coordinating colours, and it come up with 3 or 4, but I just needed a few more. And if you always add a neutral colour, you're pretty safe too. You get a different colour. So that is this set here. I haven't cut that up. I just sort of wanted to show you that that's what it looks like. So I've done a template, just done it with vellum and drew some lines on it. So you can see you get your 4 cards. So this one's just your 2 normal and 2 tall skinny cards. And this little bit on the end here you can use to put on the inside of your cards. So you would probably cut this down a bit, so you might get a little piece at the top here to use on the inside as well. So that's basically the front of a card. It will be a little bit smaller, and I'll just do the other one. So this just cutting it in your quarters. So the actual piece you'll use will be smaller. You'll cut it down a little bit smaller. So you can see there's a bigger gap here. So that's where you'll put your sentiment if you like. And then you'll decide whether you want that on the horizontal or the vertical way. Totally up to you. So we'll just work through that and just show you the different ways we can do it. Okay, I'm going to use that sort of as a template so we can sort of work off that as well. I'll clear my deck a bit. So the colours I'm using today, there's quite a lot of them. You can choose your colours. It's Crumb Cake, Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, Blackberry Bliss, Cherry Cobbler, Misty Moonlight and Crushed Curry. So I'll just move these aside. So we have ink and everything going everywhere now. So you just start off with your A4. I'm just making sure it's in the camera so you can see where I'm stamping. And I'm going to start off with my biggest poinsettia first. And my main flowers are going to be in the Cherry Cobbler. So you're just going to ink up. So I'm going to do one fall colour. And then I'm just going to turn it and stamp off with your other. So there's no right or wrong with this. You're just going to really place it wherever you want. And sort of just think, okay, I might put a smaller one here, so I might come down here with another bigger one. We're just going to work our way across the piece of cardstock. You can hear my table squeaking. Now I'm going to work up. I'm pressing quite firm because it's a solid stamp and I want to get a good clear image. I really love this sort of stamping. And I might do another one down here. We can always go back and add more. So I'll put that one there. Now I'm going to come in with my littler one and just fill in the gaps. I'm not going to make this one as dark, so I'm going to stamp off slightly and just come in here. Still do the two stamps. Might be a bit crooked because I can't quite see over the camera. Stamp off. And you'll still get your, I might just put one in here. And I might put one up here. So there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of filling in the blanks. Might just one in here. And one up here. Okay. So now I'm going to put that one away and bring in my Evening Evergreen and do a few leaves. So I'll get this image next. And with a lot of this, there's nothing right or wrong about it. So you just start. Sometimes you might want that little edge bit. You just stamp up half your stamp. But at the moment, we'll use that. And I'm just going to stamp off your second. And you're just going to fill in And you're just going to do your secondary stamp off. And you can bring it up so to make it a little bit higher as you go. And bring it down a little bit lower. You can see I messed up here. No one's going to know that. I'll stamp over it. Just going to get the greenery around. Might need a bit here. And a little bit up the top. Okay, we'll see how that goes. Put that one away and bring in another green. You mightn't have these colours, that's fine, just use whatever green colour you've got. Now I'm going to bring in the bigger fern, and we're just going to bring that out and still do your secondary stamping. Take it up the top. Want something in there, but I'm not sure whether I want that. I might leave that for the minute and see what happens. I'll bring in this littler one and just fill in a couple of little bits here that I think look a bit a little bit on the off page. You don't have to do full stamps. Okay, we'll leave that for the green. We need to add a little bit of colour to brighten this up. So I'm just going to bring in the cherry, and sorry, not cherry cobbler, crushed curry. We're just going to do the little tiny little bits for the inside of the flowers. So you can do a couple if you want, or you can just do one. Just adds a pop of colour. I've got to be careful, I've got ink on the block not to add it to push too hard and get it everywhere I don't want it. Just starts to add a little bit of colour. Sometimes you think, oh, it's looking a bit bland, but it will come together. Don't think I've missed any there. Now we're going to add, I still might keep that one out, and we'll just add it just to make it pop a little bit more, some little daisy flowers. So this stamp set, sorry, I've coordinated it with a couple. Sometimes you might need a couple. So I want to use these little images here. So it just celebrate with flowers, and I love the idea that this happy birthday goes up and down. Just something different for a stamp set. So I'm just adding these little clusters of flowers. You can stamp off. I think I like it stamped off better. And that's just starting to add a little bit of colour. That might do it for now. Now I'm going to bring in the Blackberry Bliss. We'll just add a little bit of depth, and I'm going to use this little image and the little bit that sits up in top of the flower. So I'm going to stamp off with this one. I'm not going to use the full ink, so I'm just going to stamp off and then use it. So it can be upside down or sideways, whatever suits you. There's no right or wrong. When I first did this, I was a bit nervous about making it too muddy and not knowing where I was going, but nothing seems to matter really. And I'm just going to full strength for the little bits just to make them pop a little bit. You might miss them or get them. And if you haven't got this image, that doesn't matter. Just use another flower, or so long as you've got in your stamp selection, if you haven't got this set, or you probably won't because the book's very new, but if you've got last year's Poinsettia or any other flower, doesn't have to be flower, but any stamp set you long, so long as you've got some solid images, some lighter ones, your solid flower, or even if you've got a two-step stamp set that you want to make your solid flowers. So you need some lighter and darker ones just to give it a bit of interest. I think I've found all those flowers. Okay, now I'm just going to bring in Misty Moonlight and get the smallest little flower just to add a bit of different colour. And I'm just stamping off this 3 times in clusters. And we'll see how that goes. So now you've still got gaps and that, and you sort of think, okay, it looks a little bit vacant in there. So these are great sort of stamp set, the little blotchy piece, and that just fills in lots and lots of different colour. I'm just going to use the neutral crumb cake. You can see, I'll bring this one back in, just bring it in so you can see that I used a pink here, and that just filled bits and pieces in. So I'll put that aside and bring in the crumb cake. And you can either do it full strength or light. Start off with light and you can see whether it fills it in or whether you want to add a little bit of dark. I think a bit of dark will help and a bit of light. And it just fills it in and just makes it look a lot more professional. And you can extend it up and extend it like down here. You sort of think, well, you don't want some blank cardstock when you're going to cut this piece up. You just want a little bit, and I just find every now and then I just go off the edges as well. Fill in all those gaps. There's more gaps than you think. I think we've got them all now. So that just makes a difference of filling all those little gaps in. You can always go back and put more. Now last of all, I'm just going to use this little butterfly. I'm not sure that I actually put it on the other one, but I thought we might put it on this one. And we might just do it in Misty Moonlight. It's not a butterfly, it's a dragonfly, sorry girls. But I'm just going to make him very light. So I've stamped off 1, 2, and then I'm just going to lightly stamp him. I don't want him too dark and too overpowering. Might get a light one in, yep. And I think that's about it really. This one down here on the corner. So you can decide whether you want to put more or less in that. I think that's quite enough. I'm just going to clear my deck here a little bit. I've got ink everywhere all over these stamps. So what I did next to just add a little bit of bling, on our clearance rack, there's this gorgeous, you might already have some, this our shimmer paints, but they've all retired, but this gorgeous bright copper one is still on our clearance rack for around about $5. So it's a really good buy. So what you need is a little spritzing bottle and some of this Isocol. You can put it in water if you like, but with the Isocol it just dries so much quicker, and if you're spritzing it over red it tends to dry and not smudge, not run. With water it gets a little bit wet and stays wet longer, so the ink starts to run. So the Isocol is your best one. You can just buy it at the supermarket. Most of you have probably got some from past times. So what I did is put 5 drops of the bright copper shimmer paint into my container and then just filled it up with Isocol. So I've sprayed it a few times doing a few different cards. So I'm going to try and fit this box in under the camera. It's just an old packing box. So you can spray it inside. I'm just seeing whether I've got it in the camera shot. So just spray it. So just give it a good shake. You need to give it a good shake so it's all off the bottom, regardless whatever sort of spritzer you can get. But if you get these from Stampin' Up, you get 2 in a pack for about $5.95, I think it is. So just shake it up, and then you've got a tiny little spritzer, but you need to get a fair distance back. So I'm just going to move back and just spray. Just give it a light spray. That will probably do. So the further away is the finer the spray. If you get up too close, you'll get blotches. So I was a little bit close here, but that's okay. So I'm just going to lift that out of the box. Set it back down here and give it time to dry. It's just a little bit damp, but it dries quite quickly. So I'm going to bring these cards back in, so it'll be just, so all we're going to do is punch out here with the sentiment and virtually cut the card and put it on your paper. I'm not sure whether you can see that glimmer, but it is a very gorgeous little shimmer on your card. So I'll just get a scrap piece of, got so much here. And I'm just going to do a sentiment. So all the cards are the same, so I'm just going to run through one card making with you, and then you might come up with a lot better designs than I've got. I'm just going to use the green, the Evening Evergreen, just to do the sentiment. And we're just going to stamp. So this punch I'm using has retired, so what in your kit I will have punched these out, punch them out, and then you can just fit your sentiment in whichever one you have. So I'm just going to punch that out, and I also spritz that as well with the bright copper shimmer paint. If you haven't got the shimmer paint, it doesn't matter. You can just leave it plain. Now, what you'll have in your kit is some nice little pieces of the copper foil. And even like if you've got scraps, you don't need a piece this long. You can just use the ends. I'll just put this aside And I've used this punch. I will have yours cut for you, but you can just put your little scrap bits in. I don't want that side, I want this side. And you get your nice little, so you just can cut that off and pop both ends under like so. So if you've got other ones that you sort of think, oh, I can use up the scraps, go ahead and use up the scraps. I'll just do this one to make it quicker. Put that aside. So I'm just getting ready because I want to show you how to cut the cardstock as well. So this is pretty dry now. So all we're going to do is sit this over, and this is where we're going to cut. So if you've got vellum and you want to make up some templates, you can do that as well. If you want to make the long skinny cards, it's just giving you an example of what you're going to see when you start to cut it up. Okay. So normally my cards, my actual full-size card that we make is 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. So we're going to be doing up a couple of layers. Here. I'll give you one of 3 or 4 different colours, 4 different colours. So you'll get a mixture of all these colours that are in the inks that I've used. So you need to go down a bit. So your first one is 5 3/4 is your normal card. So the next layer you would do at 5 1/2, which is the green layer. So now you're going to go down another whole 1/4 inch. So we're going to cut this at 5 1/4 inches. So you're just going to cut straight through. And if you're making a full card, it's 4 1/8. I go down to 3 7/8, and then I'm going to go down to 3 3/4. So that's our piece of card cut up. So that's one, and you've got to decide whether you want more off this end or more off this end when you're cutting. You've still got a lot of colour in here. Well, I'm going to try this one this way. So it's 1, 2. I'm going to cut it down to there, and here's a nice piece that you're going to be able to use for the centre. Then you're going to bring this in and cut a little bit more. So it's your decision whether you want to cut off this end or this end. We can turn it up. So we're going to go down to 5 1/4. And I'm going to cut off this end. So here's a nice sort of that you can cut that in half, and you've got lots of cardstock here to decorate. And then we're going to cut it at 1, 3 3/4. So that's another one. And this time I might keep the fuller one and cut off the white a bit. So you've got all these little, all your pieces. So this bit will be, doesn't really matter which way it goes, we've cut them all up. So you've got all these little bits here to use as your decoration on the inside, and these are going to make your 4 cards. So I'll bring in some cardstock. So you'll get a set of this. I'm just avoiding stamps, and then you get, so you've got the cherry cobbler and the evening evergreen, and then the reverse, and the soft succulent and blackberry bliss, and the reverse as well. So that just gives you a few different ones to make up. I'll just take this one that's here. that's all it is fold in half, as you know. Where's my bone folder? There it is. So it's a very quick, simple technique, and you're just going to add this. So it's up to you then. You can either decide to have your card this way, it looks upside down that way to me, or this way, so you can lift it up. To me, I think I would like it this way. Can't see with the darkness of the card here. Oh, I think I'd like it like that. And then I'd bring this in here. Like so. You might want to bring it down here, totally up to you. So we'll just get some glue and stick that together. Go. And I reckon I'm going to use my two little bits actually, because I don't want these V's sticking out too far. So I'm just going to snip a bit of this off. And get my glue. Just want to add a bit of glue at each end. Takes a little bit of time for the shimmer to so I don't want a lot sticking out, because the card's sort of going this way. So we'll just give that a minute to dry. We'll add, let's look for our dimensionals. I'm just going to add some dimensionals onto this. It'll help hold it in place as well, because I'm not being very patient, but you don't want to sit and watch this. Just add this on. So what quick, easy Christmas cards would these be to get them out to family and friends? And I'll just get some Fairy Vanilla, and we're just going to do, I'm just going to do the little leaf. This is probably my favourite little stamp. Just going to do the stamp like that, and also on your envelope you can do whatever you like, of course. And we'll put that on the inside. Now we need to add a little bit of bling to that, or I use some little stars on a couple, but I was saving these for you guys. But these are gorgeous little champagne rhinestones. And if you do want to purchase the paint, this just matches it lovely. So you'll get these in your kit. And it just adds a little bit of bling to your card. So that's how simple it is, girls, for your cards. You can either do this, sorry, look, I should have used this for you and put up here. So don't forget to use these. I'll see how I've done a little bit down here in this one. And I'll get the others for you. Put them way over out of my reach. Just another piece down the side. And I've just added the little bits down there. So you can really add a lot more to the front if you want to. I've just added bits of twine, little bits of daisies here out of the foil. So if you want to add more to your cards, go right ahead. But this was really just getting to show you how to stamp. Well, it's really just stamping your own DSP, really. So I'll show you those. But with that set, I just want to bring in exactly the same stamp set here. All I've done is use the cutouts here and cut out a little bit from behind here. I've just rubbed ink over the top using a dauber here. And this one I've just sprayed the bright copper on it and just stamped that little bit in the inside. So you can see that you can get so much out of that stamp set bundle. So just bringing this back in to show you what you've done, what you've created, that you can get 4 cards, fronts, and your decoration on the inside. And here's the other colourway I'll bring in and show you that I've done with the other stamp set. And you can see that this is not quite as solid, but then you can bring in your cherries as well. So I hope you enjoy this technique, and I would really love to see you post a few of your cards on my Facebook page, so then it gives us an idea of all the other colours. So that's the purple one that I started off with. I just haven't done anything with it. And I posted a few different colours and different stamp sets on my blog for you to go and have a look at as well. So thanks, girls, for joining me for my August class, and I hope to see you in September. Okay, bye.